Euranet Plus Panorama is a weekly review of European news broadcast by our network of EU radio stations.
Hello there, my name's Jo and you're listening to Euranet Plus Panorama. This Monday, the 1st of July, Budapest takes over from Brussels at the helm of the presidency of the Council of the EU. But can it be trusted to drive the common legislative agenda and represent member states honestly in dealings with the other institutions? Prime Minister Viktor Orban's long-held policy of undermining EU unity on key issues has led many to question whether Hungary should even have the right to hold this role. It is a risk, say observers, but the post-election timing and the technical nature of many of the tasks on the EU's immediate to-do list should limit any major political fallout. Moreover, Spain, Belgium and Hungary have already been working as a presidency trio on strategy, with Spain and Belgium exerting significant pressure and influence on contentious issues such as migration and Ukraine. In any case, given the EU's complex and consensual decision-making process, the Council presidency's powers are limited. One of the main risks, of course, is to the bloc's international reputation, given Orban's provocative nature. A case in point is the motto Hungary has chosen for its presidency: Make Europe Great Again. The Hungarians claim that this refers to making Europe an independent global player, and the fact that member states are stronger together. So what do we make of this slogan? Well, it sounds quite familiar. Let's defer to Commission Vice President Vera Jourova on this one.
Well, it's not very original, is it?
The inclusion of the Rubik's Cube, a Hungarian invention made up coincidentally of 27 interconnected cubes, in the presidency's official logo, is perhaps more inspired than the direct pilfering of Donald Trump's 2016 election slogan. Not everyone can solve a Rubik's Cube, which involves bringing all the individual cubes into line. But Budapest seems confident that it can bring its Hungarian ingenuity to bear on solving the EU's problems. Our German partner station AMS covers Tuesday's General Affairs Council in Luxembourg. On her arrival, Commissioner Jourova was asked if she was worried about Hungary's upcoming presidency.
Well, I will never tell you I'm worried about anything, but of course Hungarian presidency will be important for Hungary itself to show that they can serve and do the task as an honest broker, which is the role of the presidency. So I am just expecting something will happen which will show professionalism and I hope a neutral and professional performance.
Juliana Nikolova is director of Bulgaria's Centre for Policy Modernisation and also runs Europa.bg, the Bulgarian arm of the EU portal. She tells BNR that she, for one, is concerned.
It is worrying because there are acts to be finished on migration, plus decisions on what will happen to the Green Deal. We can expect a much more conservative policy from Hungary. It is going to be a difficult 6 months in general, and in those 6 months, the hope is that the commissioners will be elected, the strategic guidelines drawn up, the framework for the next programming period established. All in all, this is a difficult and responsible time, and it will be conservative.
Zinaida Zlatanova, the former head of the Commission representation in Sofia, is more relaxed. She is speaking to BNR in the context of the start of accession negotiations with Ukraine and Moldova, which Hungary did not support, but neither did it block.
When a country is a presiding state, it is more inclined to be cooperative. It is aware of its responsibility in decision-making, in working out compromises, so it remains to be seen how Hungary will behave. But so far, there are no major causes for concern.
Indeed, Estonia's Foreign Minister Margus Tsahkna tells Kuku Radio that many important decisions were taken during Belgium's tenure. The aforementioned start of accession negotiations with Ukraine, the adoption of a new sanctions package, the use of profits earned on frozen Russian assets, And all of this partially thanks to the fact that Hungary showed a modicum of flexibility.
The European Union has now, at the end of this Belgian presidency, been able to take a great many big, serious and fundamental decisions. These were not blocked by Hungary, who disagreed but did not block. Let's see what happens next. This coming semester, after all, will centre on the distribution of EU posts in the committees, the Parliament and elsewhere. So if the new Parliament gets off the ground and the new Commission gets off the ground, Hungary will not be able to slow very much down here.
The Hungarian presidency has identified 7 key priorities for its 6-month term: illegal immigration, enlargement, with a focus on the Western Balkans and specifically not Ukraine, European defence, competitiveness, the common agricultural policy, the cohesion policy, and demography. Viktor Orban met with Italian PM Giorgia Meloni in Rome on Monday. It's still unclear whether he will make a bid for the currently floating Fidesz to join Meloni's European Conservatives and Reformists group in the European Parliament. But either way, he is certainly looking to keep her on side. After the meeting, Meloni encouraged her Hungarian counterpart to continue to at least be unobstructive when it comes to Ukraine, as Radio 24 reports.
Abbiamo anche discusso ovviamente del conflitto in Ucraina.
We obviously discussed the Ukrainian conflict. As you know, our positions are not always the same, but I appreciate the stance taken by Hungary in both the EU and NATO, allowing the allies to take important decisions, even when they are not fully in agreement.
This said, when it comes to aid to Ukraine, it's going to be complicated. Numerous council decisions on this issue have already been blocked by Hungary. Decisions representing 6.6 billion euros in reimbursements for member states. Poland has called on Hungary to lift its veto on an increase in the fund for rearming Ukraine, a fund that's used to reimburse member states for arms sent to the authorities in Kyiv. Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski said in Luxembourg on Tuesday that Poland has been waiting for months for its €450 million reimbursement, as Polski Radio reports.
This reimbursement goes to Poland's Armed Forces Modernization Fund. I have once again appealed to Hungary to stop taking Polish money hostage due to their bilateral differences with Ukraine. I think that, as the presidency of the EU, Hungary will have a special duty to look out for and represent the interests of the Union as a whole, and not just its own national interests.
Despite its rejection of the Pact on Migration and Asylum, Hungary's hands are tied in this regard. It must present a national implementation plan like all the other member states. As far as illegal migration is concerned, Budapest is calling for work to continue with third and transit countries such as Tunisia and Egypt. Following her tête-à-tête with Viktor Orban on Monday, Giorgia Meloni underscored that the management of migratory flows is one of Hungary's priorities on which the two leaders find themselves firmly in agreement.
Here we agree. We agree on the fact that we must consolidate the new European approach that has been developed in recent months, partly thanks to Italy's impetus, which is based on certain pillars, namely the defence of the EU's external borders, the fight against mass illegal immigration, the fight against traffickers, and the commitment to building a new model of cooperation and partnership with the nations of origin and transit that is beneficial for all.
Meanwhile, if you were under any illusion that Hungary's new role holding the reins of Europe would release the country from any of its obligations under the treaty's Article 7 procedure, then you can think again. At this week's General Affairs Council, ministers held another hearing with Hungary, the 7th since the rule of law procedure was triggered in 2018. While member states acknowledged that some progress had been made on the judicial front, they stressed that the procedure would continue for as long as there are violations of the rule of law, minority rights, and the independence of the judiciary. Thanks for listening. Join us again next week for another look at the news from a Euranet Plus perspective.